I was born in Rehoboth and grew up on a farm about 80 kilometers south of Rehoboth. I'm one of 4 children. I was very playful as a child. It's one of the fondest memories I have is how much I played. Moving to Swakopmund at a very young age and seeing the ocean for the first time, it was really exhilarating. There was a very big part of me who missed the farm, missed where I came from, missed what I had known. But at the same time, I think I opened myself up to this new challenge. I started working at a very early age and I felt very independent emotionally, economically as well at a young age, and that took me eventually to make a decision to move to London. In the first months of being there, I met someone who I thought, wow, this is why I came to London. I went into that relationship looking for stability, looking for safety, and what I found was quite the opposite. A lot of anger, a lot of turmoil, a lot of abuse. I think that's kind of where I sort of almost went back to the life that I knew on the farm. I witnessed abuse as a child, and I then ended up in an abusive relationship myself. It was so difficult to break away and to break out of that. I felt absolutely powerless. I felt trapped in this black hole, almost like this life was destined for me. You know, this is where I was supposed to end up. And it took me 6 years to actually move beyond that and to realize that this can't be it. There's got to be more. I definitely think that my relationship with my father was an example, or it set an example for the relationship that I ended up in, because there were so many similarities. I fell pregnant in 2007, and at that point I decided I didn't want my abusive partner in the relationship. I didn't want him part of her life. And then I decided I'm going to move home. And the move was effortless. I got here in time, went to doctors, everything was fine. And unfortunately, Lily May was stillborn, which again altered my life. The pain was just raw. It was like somebody had pulled my heart out. And you could see it beating there, but you couldn't touch it, you couldn't get to it. And I felt so empty. I wanted to share the experience with my partner, and I felt that maybe this could help him as well, because he also has challenges. That's why he abused me. My turning point for leaving Adrian was when I realized that there's nothing I would be able to do that will ever change him. Even the fact that we lost our baby had no effect on him whatsoever. And that's when I realized that I've already lost too much. So I can't lose anymore. I need to get out. And it doesn't matter how scary it is. It doesn't matter how afraid I was at that time. I needed to get out. So I decided to move out for the first time, really, work at staying away from him and getting people around me who love me or respect me was very important. A friend of mine sent me a book called The Secret, and it's about the law of attraction and also what we think and what we speak, and it affects or impacts how we behave. I also started seeing a psychologist in England who gave me cognitive behavioral change therapy, which is pretty much the same thing. So it's taking your thoughts and changing them around. So when you have a negative thought, to then think of the opposite, which is positive. I was extremely overweight and unhappy and depressed, and I decided to change that too. I started walking, exercising, yogaing, meditation, a lot of things that I feel helped me every single day. My changes that I made were very small in the beginning and it was very slow, but eventually I felt comfortable again in my own skin. I felt comfortable about what I've been through doesn't say where I'm going. Before I moved back to Namibia, I met a girl called Precious, and she really is precious. And she invited me to some of her events, which is for precious children. And she's got some children in Swaziland as well as Botswana and some other SADC countries. And immediately when we met, there was just this instant connection. And she said to me, "You are my Mama Namibia." And I'm like, this must be sent from God, because I lost my child. but here I'm given an opportunity to look after other children. So that kind of took me into the whole Precious Children Foundation, where we now provide food and clothing for children from vulnerable homes. It's again very miraculous how I met the president of Victims to Survivors, an informal organization who looks after or supports women who have been through abuse. And she asked me to be the vice president of Victims to Survivors. And since then, we have just been climbing and climbing in terms of the support that we received, in terms of the activities that we've been able to do. So we're doing yoga, we're doing Zumba, self-defense as well, because it really empowers you in a different way to know that you can defend yourself when the time comes. When I talk with women who are going through this at the moment, I can share experiences that they appreciate, because they're scared to talk out because people are going to judge and people are going to give them names. But when they start talking, you know, you actually start understanding how this person ended up and how this person can be helped to move on from this. So I really believe that it's my mission, it's my passion to help children and vulnerable women who are hurting. My biggest life lesson is that it's really a gift to give life. I also learned that things will be what it is until we decide to change it. I'm so much happier as a person now than I was ever before. I'm no more ashamed, you know, of what I had been through. And I think that Namibian women need to start doing that. It's a difficult situation to be in, and it always takes two to tango. Let's be honest about that. One is a victim and one is a perpetrator, but the two together, they cause what they do. So if we take responsibility and if we forgive ourselves for our part in it, it's so much easier to move on.